Hi everyone, and welcome to another speed build. And would you look at that, I'm uploading a build that I made yesterday. So I'm trying to narrow that period between when I make a build and when I edit it. So yesterday is when I created this build. I'm still trying to go through my backlog and eventually get out all those videos that I've sitting in there, but I'm going through it chronologically at the moment. So I'm going from my oldest build to my newest build. So my oldest build was the build that was up yesterday, which was the studio, and it's gonna just like keep going from then on. So hopefully sometime soon that castle will be out there. But I'm mainly doing this to showcase what my current build style is, and this is why I've been a little less inclined to be uploading those other builds, just because they're not necessarily what I'm into at the moment. But I'm very much into doing these Georgian, French styled kind of townhouses and places like this. I'm just enjoying it all that I am once again enjoying doing roofing, even though this video is going to showcase that roofing is not for everyone. When I was creating this apartment, again, surprise, surprise, I created another apartment build. I was truly stumped. I was looking at it and I was at one point even thinking, let me just bulldoze the entire lot. But I was like, no, you do that too much. You give up, because what is this roofing? I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I don't even know where I was trying to go with it. You can tell it was late last night and I was just like, what? I was trying to do it slightly from memory because there was a specific build I wanted to do according to Pinterest, but I couldn't find where that build was. So I was like, okay, let me just try and do it from memory, and my memory was not serving me well. So it ended up creating this weird roofing that I just, for whatever reason, couldn't get right. So I had to push myself and I had to be like, okay, really? What do I want? Like, what do I want? So those little pauses you see me do it is me going on Pinterest and trying to look up the specific build that I was inspired off of. What I knew 100% is that I wanted that kind of dome shape in the middle because I think that's gorgeous. I did that for my shopping center slash mall build. I just love the dome center, but here you can see me, I was still struggling with it. What really saved it was just curving the roofs. And I found out from TikTok, if someone can find out who the creator was, but in TikTok someone told me you can click Shift C, I think, and you can get multiple curve options for your roofing. But I can't do that because with my G shade I've programmed the keys for Shift C to be how I take a screenshot using G shade. So I can't do it, so I had to just use the one curve point. But as soon as I started to curve the roofing is when I started to see the vision. The vision was coming to me after I started doing that. And I did this whole glass thing, and I was like, okay, that popped up. That looks so cute. But the reason why there's a platform in the middle of the roof is one, because the actual roofs within that I was taking inspiration from have that, but also because, as you could tell, the roofing is peaking and it won't go down and it won't make sense if I try and push it down. So it's like, okay, it's whatever, that it doesn't matter too much, I'll just do it this way. So yeah, that's how I ended up finally doing the roof. And the roofing took me a very long time to do. I think to do the exterior, like I said in my last video, it takes me 3 parts. So I normally do the exterior, take a nap, do the downstairs interior, take a nap, and do the upstairs interior, take a nap. But this one was do the exterior, look at the wall, then do the interior, go to sleep, 12 hours later do the bathroom. And it's always something like that. Sometimes it can, especially when it comes to these apartment builds, it can end up being like that. And yes, it is another apartment build. I was telling myself, come on, just do a house, do a full-size build for a sim. But the thing is, I think I've got this thing where I like doing grandiose exteriors, but then when it actually comes to doing grandiose interiors, I struggle. I don't like empty spaces unless it's a minimalist build. I really don't like empty spaces. So even with this build, the entranceways and the stairways, all of them, there's quite a lot of empty space. If you choose to create them into being some things, like for example, you can put elevators there if you want to, or you could put maybe laundry mat or something like that in these empty spaces. Go for it, because they do bother me somewhat. But there are reasons why in this particular build I didn't put an elevator. It's because I've noticed with a lot of builds like this, especially apartment builds, they don't do elevators, which is nice in a sense of exercise, not as great when it comes to accessibility. But yeah, I think if you want to add a elevator for any sims that you feel like would need an elevator, in terms of if they're wheelchair users or they've got limited mobility, go for it. It's just I wanted to kind of leave it like this. So that's how I managed it. And I was trying to feel a little bit more confident with those empty spaces. And I think right now I do feel confident with those empty spaces. So yeah, I'm okay with it. The roof though, it looks so nice. Okay, at this point now, you're gonna see me do a lot of questionable options, because originally I wanted this build to be a bit more gloomy, because I wanted to do a full build, and all of the builds I have are like late summer at the moment in the backlog, and I wanted to do something a bit more towards fall. So I started doing this, and it's not entirely bad. It's not bad, but this heavily gives me London vibes. It gives me London town vibes, and it's like, yeah, well, London, not a town, it's a city, but it's like, it gives me like London vibes, and it's not necessarily what the vibe was for this build. So I ended up getting rid of the black brick and putting on white brick. And honestly, you can change it back to black brick. I think if I changed the door and had that to be black, then it would have made more sense with what's going on with this build. But then I thought if it was all black, it looks a little bit too gloomy for Bridgerton Bay, and maybe I should have put it in like Midnight. It's not called Midnight Hollow. What is it called? I was about to call it Mystic Falls. It's not Mystic Falls either. Anyways, oh, the stairs. Have I not discussed how much I hate doing stairs? So originally I was going to do the staircase at the back, and I was going to bring it up and everything. But when it wouldn't fit in with the space that I was trying to do it with, and then there was the whole awkward section of the upper level. And the upper level was interesting because originally when I was thinking about making this build in my head, I wanted that upper level to be 2 distinctive places for the bottom level apartment. So the 3rd floor apartment has access to the upper level from the right and the left. So both apartments would have access to that. So it'll be multi-level apartments, 3rd floor going up. But then when I looked at it, it had this, obviously the dome roofing that I really wanted to do. So then I was like, okay, I can't necessarily do that, because then someone's going to have that dome roofing, and I'm not just leaving that dome roofing to be the staircase. So as you see, this is like the entryway and where the stairs are, everything. I didn't want that to be the dome roofing, because I thought the dome roofing is way too cute to have that just be a hallway. It's also why in the interior, not in the interior, the intro of this video, you see my sim just staring outside of the window in the staircase area and stairwell area, and it's just because it's got the most gorgeous view on that part. But the way I built this apartment space is that I don't feel like either apartment should have that space. Like, yeah, you can try and like have it in the way that, oh, they could take the back part and the front part, because if you can see, the front part is pushed out, and then the back part, there's also a part, so it's like about 3 tiles each of just emptiness that you could always extend one of the apartments to having. But in my head, I couldn't think of what you would utilize that for. Like, if you wanted to, you can stretch out one of the walls and then have that part be either a 3x3 bedroom or a 3x3 workspace, whatever you feel like. But to me personally, I was like, I'm fine with what it is. The only problem I do have creating all these apartments is that I end up not wanting them to be too big, which is something I've discussed before. I don't like it when my apartments are wide, because I will feel like there's supposed to be more in there than there actually is, because the dimensions within the Sims compared to the Sims houses is really, really odd. So it will feel like, oh, this building looks big enough to house like 8 people, but it can only house realistically 6 apartments. And that's what ended up happening. I wanted to make these apartments 2 bedrooms because I wanted to potentially raise a family in one of them. And if you want to, you can sacrifice a few areas and really remodel it so it is perfect for 2 bedrooms in each apartment. But then there's also the issue of it's going to be way too tight. I didn't imagine these apartments to be extremely tight. I imagined them to be somewhat comfortable. They're neither large, they're neither small. I imagined them truthfully, and I imagined this apartment. Even when I was thinking of the Sims that's going to move into this apartment, I was like, I imagine someone who comes from money, like quite a bit of money, enough money that they are not so like loud about it, but they're slightly loud about it. So for example, I would say that they went to potentially a quite wealthy school growing up, just finished from a wealthy university, and probably got a job through some sort of nepotism. But they're not wealthy in the extent of they've got yards and yards of space. I think the wealth in that a parental figure has probably brought this apartment they live in for them. So that kind of vibe. So they are in no way or shape paying for the apartment they live in, but they do still strive to work. And it's not like, I wouldn't classify who lives here as the heir of $1 billion company. I would say that the Sim I created is more of a second son of a first generation millionaire. It's very specific, but that's who I see living in this type of apartment. And honestly, the Sim I created for it is I was like, I can create a story with you. I feel like you could potentially cause me drama, and I love that. So I think I will be returning to this apartment quite a lot just to play with that Sim, and I'll also be returning to this apartment a lot because since there are so many empty apartments, there is 7, I believe, and 7? Am I what? No, there is 6. I decorated one. I especially want to come back to this apartment and decorate the top level that's got like the balconies and everything. I think it's going to be so cute to have like a yoga mat there, and they can do yoga mats whilst the sun is rising. I can imagine the top level having a lot of bookcases. I can imagine having maybe like a little tea area at the back with the sunglass roof. I feel like it'll be so cute. So I do want to go back maybe in around November, decorate that area, maybe do a little day in the life, little Sims vlog for that area. I just jumped because currently it's October in the UK. What? Currently it's October in the UK. It's currently October everywhere. What is wrong with me? I meant to say it's currently October, which means that the UK is preparing a lot of fireworks. Why did I say that? Like, time zones meant months. No, sorry. What I mean is that when it starts to round up to October, where it's nearing New Year's Eve, there begins to be a lot of fireworks going off within the UK for like bonfire night, a lot of cultural and religious celebrations, and also for New Year that's coming up. So a lot of my neighbors have started the fireworks, and I'm still trying to get used to hearing them because it's almost borderline radio silent for 9 months of the year. There's a few others just because of religious celebrations, but normally it's very radio silent. So just hear was recording a sudden loud pop at the side of my head. It was a bit of a jump scare, but yeah. Anyway, I completely forgot what I was talking about beforehand. But this kitchen, I love this kitchen. I was dreading to do this kitchen because lately I've been hating doing them, which really sucks because it's like my favorite aspect of the house. I've said this before, kitchens are my favorite. So lately when I've been just hating everything that comes with making a kitchen, it's really been disheartening because it's like, what do I do now? I don't like, I like doing interiors, but I also don't. So I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. But doing this kitchen was so much fun. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out, and I felt like it really fit the vibe. It's just such a pretty kitchen, and like I've stated before, I try to keep everything inside somewhat small amounts of CC packs, so I try not to use too many. And that's what I did with this kitchen. I really tried to just only use the basic luxe kitchen, so the modern basic luxe kitchen, and I've also tried to only use the vanilla kitchen. Vanilla kitchen was a later afterthought because I didn't think I was going to use it that much, but then when I looked at the eggs, I was like, okay, I feel like the eggs need to be there, so put the eggs there, and then everything else is from the modern basic modern luxe kitchen CC pack, and that's where you get these amazing bar stools, these amazing chairs, marble tables. These marble tables you're gonna see everywhere because I've got another house that uses them, and it's got the long one where you can put 8 Sims on there. It's beautiful. I'm obsessed with that pack when it comes to doing kitchen and dining areas, especially since they all match. It just adds a sense of cohesiveness, and it adds this sense of luxury, but not too potent about it, but just enough that you know that they've got a bit of money, but they're not too like obvious about it. It's really nice in a lot of British homes because a lot of British homes do use furniture like that. So I have used it in quite a few British builds, which should be coming out quite soon. And with the living space, I do use quite a bit of the modern looks again when it comes to the plants and the lamp, which also did not use boho living. Look at me, did not use that. So pat on the back for me, I guess. But I did use the Unfold CC pack, which is made by the same creator as David's Apartment, which I do use a tiny bit of. Do I? Am I lying? I wouldn't know, because what ended up happening with this build is that in the comment section, some of the CC will be tagged, some of the CC won't be tagged, because my game has this problem of when I click off the game and then I click back onto the game, sometimes it will just show me white, and it will show that the UI is still functioning. Like every single time I hover certain stuff, it will allow me to click or whatever, but I have no idea what I'm clicking on because it's just a white space. So it did that when I remembered I need to go back and look at what CC I used. And then when it did that, I was like, well, it's currently almost 8 o'clock in the evening. I need to eat my dinner. So let me just create the video, upload the CC list of what I remember I've put in, and then update the rest of it either later tonight or tomorrow when I start the game back up again, because I won't lie to you, I don't feel like playing The Sims today or tomorrow, which is why it's great to have a backlog sometimes, because then you can just pull up those videos and just talk nonsense about your previous builds when you feel uninspired. And sometimes you feel inspired when you do end up editing your previous videos because you're like, oh, oh, I actually want to build something now, which happened with this build. Like I've been wanting to build this build, but when I made the studio, which is the studio that I uploaded yesterday, and this build are all part of my celebrity save. When I made that studio, I was like, okay, I want to make another celebrity sim. I want to make another every single sim that I am in control of within this save, which is about, I think it's 8 households, 8 to 6 households. They are all celebrities or super duper dirty rich in some capacity. So it made me feel like, okay, I wanna create this to some extent. So yeah. A lot of the packs that I used in this, like I said before, the Modern Lux Kitchen CC, with Kitchen and Dining. I used the Unfold pack by the same creator as David's Apartment. I used David's Apartment with, I think, the wardrobe and the like shoes and all of the things to do with the clothing and everything. I used the Unfold pack when it comes to the sofas. I think the coffee table is either David's Apartment or that, but it's the same CC creator. The TV stand, which is not actually a TV stand, that's from David's Apartment. That's what I'm sure of. All the plants are the Modern Lux ones. And the wall lights are also the Modern Lux ones, and look how cute they are. And all the doors are from the Felixandre Berlin CC pack, which is such a cute pack. The laptops that you see on the side and on the counter, I mean, come on, my sim has like 2 MacBooks, like they've got money. They are from the David's Apartment pack. This wallpaper, when did I put it down? No, not because it's ugly. It's actually beautiful. I love this wallpaper so much, but I have no idea on the top of my head which pack that comes from. So that's going to be a fun adventure for me tomorrow morning to try and find out where that pack came from. It's also the reason why this was a really beautiful sink, and this was also a really beautiful mirror, but it was using too many CC packs, so I ended up getting rid of the sink and the mirror. And I think I used everything else from the Felixandre Basics pack, which is like a basic bathroom pack, which is where you get the shower from, and it's where you're gonna get that sink from, or the sink is base game, and I think it's where you're gonna get the mirrors from Growing Together. I remember that because I really like that mirror, and I really love that pack when it comes to builds. So I think when I do make that video about top rated CC creators when it comes to furniture packs, I think I might make it as well for like base game packs. But I think that is basically the gist of what I use in terms of CC in this build. It's not actually that much CC, as you can see. But anyway, that was the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed so much, and you will be able to download it on the gallery from tomorrow. It's just my tag EmeraldStories, and I hope you guys liked. I hope you guys subscribe, and I hope you guys comment anything you would like to see from my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.